DeadPool and Wolverine. What can I say that hasn't been mentioned over the internet so far? Over the past few years, with the countless MCU flops, with terrible writing, acting, CGI, you name it, they've done it. Now, will this bring the good graces of the Marvel movies back? Who knows? Let's find out. For the record, I have to say, I haven't really been keeping touch with the MCU movies and shows that have been popping up recently. The last Marvel product I saw was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And boy, do I regret watching that in theaters. The less I am reminded of that pile of garbage, the better. On to the plot synopsis. It starts off with Deadpool putting down the suit and starting off his new civilian life working a job as a car salesman. Things were all fine and dandy till the TVA showed up at his front door trying to take him in. After getting captured by the TVA, he gets interrogated and offers to join them in the MCU timeline, which is finally happening after all these years. Again, I have not been watching the show, so I have no clue who the TVA is. I had to ask a friend, because I clearly really don't give a shit watching the damn show. I'm not interested in watching Loki. But they're basically a bunch of time cops. That's about it. Nothing too extraordinary. We continue on. After getting the offer to join the MCU, overjoyed with this chance, Deadpool decides to put his costume back on and back to fighting shape. And I gotta say, the amount of sexual humor they got away with is hilarious to me, especially from Disney of all people. But as funny as they were, it did get played out a bit too much in this movie. Not really my taste, but each their own. However, this opportunity for Deadpool has quite the drawback. Due to Wolverine, from the Amazing Logan movie, dying in his universe, that means they lost their anchor being. What is an anchor being exactly? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is basically a crucial person that holds the timeline stable and is now rapidly getting erased from existence. The TVA has no intention on helping prevent this from happening, and Deadpool being Deadpool decided to take things into his own hands. After several funny and cool timeline hopping moments, he comes across a Wolverine to bring to his timeline. But he brought the worst one. A washed up Wolverine. After that, the TVA did a little exposition dump explaining that what they are doing is an off-the-record operation, which was never approved before tossing Deadpool and Wolverine to the void. Which is a perfect representation of any time Disney having a good idea and tossing it to the freaking abyss. Now, what exactly is the void? It's basically a barren wasteland. It is a dimension that all threats considered by the TVA are sent to stay trapped. In the void, they meet the main villain of the movie, which is, in all honesty, the weakest part of this entire movie. Her motivations are very bland, more of a I'm evil because I'm crazy kind of vibe, wanting to end all of existence. And my god, can't have an MCU movie that isn't a multiversal disaster for fuck's sakes. But what this movie lacks in villains, they more make up with our titular characters, Deadpool and Wolverine, played by Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. They did a phenomenal job with their performance with the characters. The team up we've all been waiting for decades to see on the big screen in all its glory. The way they bounce back at each other with the jokes and interactions is the selling point of this movie. Whenever they are together on screen, it's just a lot of fun. Not to mention all the hilarious jabs Ryan Reynolds got to make directly at Disney, which I was very surprised with them allowing it, considering how they've been doubling down with all their projects, even if they're absolutely terrible. I'm looking at you, She-Hulk, you goddamn piece of shit. As much as I want to praise this movie to the mountaintops, it does have its flaws. By no means is it perfect, but it's definitely stepping into the right direction if they keep making movies like this again. Like I said earlier, the villain was very weak, but the act structure of the movie was also kind of not really the best. The beginning of the movie felt very slow to pick up and get interesting. The middle portion was boring, and the finale was, while action-packed, but nothing too crazy to write home about. And before I forget, the soundtrack. Never in my life did I think I would sing Hit Me Baby One More Time by NSYNC. That shit has been living rent-free in my mind for the past few days now. It is too damn good. As much as I make fun of the CGI in the most current Marvel projects, I would have to say the CGI in this movie is definitely way, way better. There are some moments where it looks kind of awkward, especially when you see Hugh Jackman in the Wolverine suit, kind of just moving around, kind of looks like a Play-Doh guy sometimes. But for the most part, I would say it's pretty effective. Now, a lot of the criticism mentioned online are the wide array of cameos in this movie. Cue DiCaprio meme here. While I find cameos to be cheap memberberry moments, Star Wars acolyte, I would say for this movie it wasn't as bad. If not, it felt more like a love letter to the movies of the time. I will not spoil what the cameos were, but most I never would have expected in my life. Now the $1,000,000 question. Will this movie turn the sinking ship of the MCU? Are we so back? Hell no. But it's definitely a step in the right direction. If they continue to make entertaining movies like these again, they can surely bounce back. But they gotta commit to it. No more absolute dog water shows and movies like She-Hulk and the Marvels. Actually give your VFX team the time to properly add the CGI to your movies so that they don't look like the goddamn dumb guys from Spy Kids. If you do all that, then you will succeed again and bring back the glory days. That's my piece, and I hope you all enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you like to see more.